Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers Insider gets honest about offensive tackle competition. It took 2023 first-round pick Broderick Jones about half of the 2023 season before entering the starting lineup on a regular basis for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dan Moore Jr. remained the team's starting left tackle throughout 2023, while Jones, who played left tackle in college, started at right tackle the final 10 games. The Athletic's Mark Kaboly argued the same thing could happen this season. Not with Jones and Moore, but Moore and 2024 first-round pick Troy Fautanu. Jones is your starting left tackle, Kaboly wrote in a mailbag on June 24. Moore and Fautanu will battle for right tackle in camp. The loser of that battle will be the swing tackle. Kaboly added to a question about the possibility Moore starts in front of a rookie again this fall. It's quite possible. It worked last year with Broderick Jones, so it might be something they entertain again this year. Moore isn't as bad as people make him out to be. Moore has received the wrath of Steelers fans because of his poor player grades at Pro Football Focus. PFF ranked Moore 50th out of 56 offensive tackles who played at least 50% of his team's offensive snaps last season. But Kaboly noted that PFF shouldn't be taken as gospel with Moore and then dispelled in T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett arguments. Similar to Jones last year, Fautanu arrived at Pittsburgh's rookie OTAs as a highly touted prospect. Last season, Fautanu won the Morris Trophy as the top offensive or defensive lineman in the Pac-12. Fautanu captured that award while being part of the Washington's offensive line, which won the Joe Moore Award. The top offensive line in college football receives that honor annually. But Moore is obviously more experienced on the NFL level than Fautanu. Moore has started 49 games and played nearly 3,200 offensive snaps over 3 seasons. In addition to his mailbag answers, Kaboly stressed during an appearance on the Joe Starkey Show on 93.7 The Fan on June 26 that Moore's experience could lead to him starting at right tackle. It happened last year. Why wouldn't it happen again this year, said Kaboly. If they go into this training camp and cut out of the training camp and Dan Moore is obviously better than him, like you saw pretty significantly last year with him and Broderick Jones, at least early in the process, why not? I think that they would allow that. Moore was a day one starter for the Steelers after being a 4th-round pick in 2021. He has started every contest in which he's played and has missed just 2 games in his 3-year NFL career. While Kaboly's point about Moore's experience is warranted, the situation between the Moore-Jones 2023 competition and the pending Moore-Fautanu battle aren't exactly the same. All of Moore's NFL experience is at left tackle. So, it made sense that he was able to hold off the rookie Jones last season. It will shock some pundits if Moore can switch to right tackle this summer and start instead of another first-round pick. Moore struggled when put at right tackle, and his NFL experience, save for 4 snaps, is entirely at that position, Steelers Depot's Joe Clark wrote. So if Jones really is locked in at left tackle, it would be a surprise if Moore beat out Fautanu on the right side. In Moore's defense, Fautanu didn't play right tackle in college, so he won't exactly have an edge in the competition. But whichever tackle adapts to the right side fastest is likely to be Pittsburgh's starter at right tackle in Week 1. What Jonas Griffith wants from a rematch against Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson and his return to Denver looms for the Broncos on their schedule. But not until after training camp, preseason, and a Week 1 game in Seattle. Still, the Pittsburgh Steelers' visit to Denver in Week 2 will be notable. And it will likely be one that ends up circled on the calendar of Wilson's former teammates. Even if they're diplomatic about it, as Jonas Griffith was when he joined Zach Bye and Philip Lindsay on the drive on 104.3 The Fan earlier this week. I'm real excited, obviously, for any game I get to play in, Griffith said. But yeah, you see that one, you're excited to go out there and beat the Steelers first of all, that's a good organization. but Griffith wants to make a big play at Russell Wilson's expense, too. Which led Lindsay to ask Griffith a simple question, whether the linebacker would tell Russell Wilson, "Let's ride," if he sacked him. The response was one of laughter. But given how trash-talking has been a part of the NFL since time immemorial, and will remain very much a thing in the years to come, one would be surprised, if not disappointed, if a big defensive play against Wilson didn't come with a sneering utterance of the catchphrase that Wilson and the Broncos hammered into the ground in 2022, only to ditch it immediately after that disastrous campaign mercifully concluded. If there are hard feelings, they're not coming out. But a little good-natured ribbing? Expect plenty of that from the Broncos defense if they can leave Wilson scrambling and running for his self-preservation in the home opener. Insider denies Steelers blockbuster trade. The chatter surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers and their wide receivers refuses to stop. Recently, team and NFL insiders suggested the trade talks for San Francisco 49ers receiver Brandon Aiyuk were picking up again. Aiyuk hasn't helped the case with some calculated social media and television comments either. No trade has been finalized yet, but a move still feels close. In a recent article by Sports Illustrated's NFL analyst Albert Breer, he addressed the hottest trade topic in the league. According to him, the situation is still as tenuous between Aiyuk and the 49ers, but he doesn't think the team will ultimately move him. "I think they will get Aiyuk there over the next couple of months. Even if things seem bleak now," he wrote. Despite this, many others think a trade is imminent. Breer chimed in on that as well. He believes that if a trade occurs, the Steelers won't be involved. He discussed the team's rumored pursuit of Aiyuk and downplayed the idea. "The Pittsburgh Steelers really don't go outside the organization to fill that position," he wrote. Don Looney was the last player to be Pittsburgh's leading receiver in any single season who wasn't homegrown, and that was during World War II. They draft and develop, sometimes to a fault, at that spot. Breer makes an interesting point. The team has had immense success drafting and wide receivers. It's fair to assume they are confident in their ability as an organization to continue that. Why then, would you give up valuable assets and spend an excessive amount of money on this position? What he fails to consider, however, is the way the Steelers operate is drastically different under Omar Khan. Khan is aggressive, savvy, and cunning. When he sets his eyes on a player, via trade or the draft, he gets them. And when he wants to move on from a player, he's the best in the league at getting above market value in return. None of that matters though if Breer's comments hold up. As talented as Aiyuk is, the Steelers are a team that historically depends on homegrown talent. If the Steelers continue prioritizing the development of their own drafted player, there is no need or room for Aiyuk or the cost of his next contract. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Brandon Aiyuk? Leave your opinion in the comments.